Hola there, my friends. Welcome to this 5 gut health recipe video. If you're new here, what is up? My name is Julia, and I'm all about intuitive eating and living. We're going to kick off this video with a delicious quinoa and tofu scramble, and first things first is we're going to mince up a decent amount of ginger. Ginger is fantastic for your digestive system, and it also adds a lot of flavor to things as well. We also chopped up some red pepper and some celery too, and we're going to throw that into the pan along with some oil and let that saute for a couple minutes, and then crumble in a half a block of tofu. I always like to use my hands for this, but I know some people don't really like to get their hands in their food. No judgment whatsoever. You can use a fork or a masher. We're going to add some flavor to the mixture with a couple teaspoons worth of tamari, a teaspoon worth of miso, a teaspoon worth of turmeric, and some black pepper as well. And then we're going to throw in some quinoa. I cooked up a cup of quinoa, but only used about half of it into the mixture, just because I like to have extras in my fridge hanging out at all times, but feel free to only cook up half of a cup of quinoa and throw it all in there. After I let that saute for 5 to 7 minutes, I threw in half of a cup of kimchi, and then reduced the heat and let that hang out for a few minutes while I was massaging up some kale. So in my bowl, I got a decent amount of kale along with some lemon juice and some salt as well. There's no exact measurement, but the reason that we're doing this is to just help your digestive system break down the kale a little bit better, just because kale is so fibrous and really hard for the body to break down fully. Once we got that massaged up, we are ready to plate our tofu and quinoa scramble. To me, this dish is an amazing way to start the day because we got lots of protein, we got our greens from our kale, and a good kick of probiotics from our kimchi as well. Feel free to add half of an avocado to this for a good amount of fat. Top it off with some green onions or some cilantro. Have fun with it and make it your own. Moving on to our super green matcha mango smoothie. This one is a good kick of greens, a good kick of probiotics, and such an easy one to throw together. So I got a banana in here along with a couple of cups worth of frozen mango, 2 stalks worth of kale, a cup worth of spinach, a third a cup worth of coconut kefir. Still don't know how to say that word right. I just honestly have not taken the time to learn, even though so many of you guys have tried to help me. I got a cup worth of water, a good teaspoon worth of matcha powder, some turmeric powder, and a good pinch of black pepper. We're then going to blend that all up until it's completely smooth and combined. This may take a couple minutes simply because the kale is so fibrous, but give it your time and attention and she'll be damn delicious. Feel free to add a scoop of protein powder into this if you so choose, whether that's a plain or a vanilla one. That would be delicious. However, it's definitely not needed, and I would recommend only enjoying this in the morning or the afternoon just because the matcha may keep you up at night if you enjoy this later. And because we've all got matcha on our minds now, let me just say thank you to matcha.com for sponsoring today's video. I've been on a little bit of a matcha kick recently, and you should be too. To me, matcha is just so much easier on the gut than coffee, and it doesn't give me a crash a couple hours later either. It is high in antioxidants and has so many other benefits to it, so it fits perfectly into a balanced lifestyle. Dr. Andrew Weil, the co-founder, has been promoting a natural, balanced lifestyle for many, many years now. And his love for matcha shows in the beautiful, high-quality products that his company produces. Matcha.com's matcha is grown in pristine hillsides of Yuji, just outside of Kyoto. Less than 60 authentic matcha farms still exist to this day, so when you're supporting Matcha.com, you're not only getting an amazing product for yourself, but you are keeping ancient traditions and practices alive and well, which is fantastic. Matcha.com has so many different grades and kinds, and if you're new to the matcha scene or just don't know what you want to try out, I suggest getting the variety pack so that way you can test out all of the matchas and see what one's your favorite. If you want to join me on the matcha train, then head over to matcha.com and use my code JULIA to get 20% off of your first purchase. Thank you so much, matcha.com, for sponsoring today's video. I love your stuff so much. All right, so let's whip up these quinoa and cauliflower maki rolls. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using rice in your maki rolls. However, I find this recipe gives you that extra dose of 9 amino acids and an extra dose of veggies as well from the cauliflower. So that makes your gut and your body very happy. We're going to grate and or finely chop up half of a cauliflower, throw that into a pot along with half of a cup of quinoa, a cup of water, a tablespoon worth of tamari, and a couple tablespoons worth of rice vinegar, and a teaspoon worth of ginger powder. You can also grate up an inch of ginger as well. We're going to throw that onto the stove and let that do its thing on medium heat for about 15 to 20 minutes, give or take a few, and I would recommend stirring it every so often as well. Once that's cooking and on the groove, we are going to chop up whatever veggies you desire, and today I'm just dicing up some carrots, some red cabbage, some red pepper, some cucumber. I meant to do some avocado and some mango as well in this, but my brain just completely slipped away from it, and I'm just going to add it on top at the end. You'll see what I mean in a hot minute. So after my quinoa and cauliflower was done cooking, I actually took it out of the pot and put it into a wide bowl to let it cool down for about 10 minutes or so before wrapping it up in my sushi rolls. That way it didn't like wilt my veggies and make it all weird and gross. I then just tightly rolled up using my hands, my quinoa and cauliflower mixture along with my veggies in a nori sheet. Absolutely love seaweed. Your gut loves seaweed. And I suggest making your own sushi rolls, maki rolls at home every once in a while, just because it's super fun and a creative thing to do too. We're going to make a sauce for our maki rolls. So I'm adding a tablespoon worth of almond butter along with a tablespoon worth of tamari, a tablespoon worth of rice vinegar, and a tablespoon worth of maple syrup. Sriracha to taste or no sriracha at all, that is totally up to you. Some people's guts really don't like spice, so do what works best for you. But I find my gut doesn't really mind it in small quantities and or large quantities because I'm slightly addicted to spice. But you do you, my friend. Like I said, I totally forgot my avocado and my mango, so I simply just added it on top of my sushi rolls, maki rolls at the end. Our guts love a good soup every once in a while, so of course I had to include one into this recipe video. So I chopped up a small to medium-sized sweet potato along with a decent amount of celery, onion, carrot, and some leek. The leek is optional. I just had it hanging out in the fridge and thought more veggies the better. And it adds more flavor too. I also minced up a couple cloves of garlic, threw that into my big old pot for 3 to 5 minutes, added half of a teaspoon worth of salt, and then sauteed it again for 8 to 10 more minutes. Not again, I just continued to saute it. After that, I threw in a couple cups worth of veggie stock along with a couple cups worth of water, our sweet potato, some fresh parsley, some turmeric, a little bit of chili flakes, some bay leaves, and a good tablespoon worth of miso paste as well. Do not worry, all of these recipes will be down in the description box for you too, so you don't have to keep up or write faster than your hand can move. After about 12 to 15 minutes, I added some oat milk, some spinach, and some split red lentils. Let that hang out for 5 to 7 more minutes, and then served her up, along with a good sprinkle worth of green onions, because why not? And a little extra oat milk as well. Feel free to add no oat milk whatsoever to this recipe. Maybe you actually want to add some coconut milk to it instead. That is totally up to you. I love a good stir fry, and I hope you love a good stir fry too, especially one with shiitake mushrooms, because our guts love a variety of vegetables and fungi, and a good protein source like tempeh too. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to first off marinate this tempeh, this whole block of tempeh, with a couple tablespoons worth of tamari, a tablespoon worth of toasted sesame oil, a tablespoon worth of miso paste, a tablespoon worth of almond butter, and a tablespoon worth of maple syrup as well. We're going to mix that all on up. It may take a minute or so to get it all combined, and then we're just going to set it aside and continue chopping up our vegetables. We could have totally done that first, but for whatever reason, I was not thinking of the tempeh. Right off the bat, I was thinking about chopping up my onions and my mushrooms. So I just continued chopping up my veggies. I've got, I should say, some red pepper, some red cabbage, bok choy, and then we're going to mince up some ginger and some garlic as well. Of course, we need those things in a stir fry, in my opinion anyways. So once we got that all ready to go, we're going to heat up a pan on medium heat, add a tablespoon worth of toasted sesame oil along with our onion, ginger, garlic, and shiitake mushrooms until they get nice and browned and super fragrant. We're going to add our tempeh along with a dash of water, the rest of our vegetables, stir that up and let it hang out for 6 to 9 minutes with the lid on. We cooked up some quinoa in the meantime, and once both are ready to go, we're going to plate it on up along with some green onions, totally optional, and some sesame seeds, which again are totally optional, but I find a stir fry needs those things on top. Feel free to add some cilantro or whatever variety of veggies you deem delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and got some value out of it. If you try any of these gut healing recipes, let me know down in the comments because I would love to know. I hope to see you again so very soon, and I'm sending you so much love, my friends. Mwah!